Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. First of all, I pay homage to Triple Gem. I pay homage to Param Pujya Bade Bante Ji. I pay my homage to Buddha Bala Bante Ji. And greetings to all novices and devotees. Today, I will speak on a sutta taught by the Buddha. Here in this sutta, Lord Buddha tells about his teachings. And when a person practices his teaching and he wanted to know whether it is the teachings of the Buddha or teachings of someone else. So for this clarification, Lord Buddha gave this sutta. Sometime you can see on social media, the people used to write this quoted by the Buddha, and in the video you can see this was happened and then the Lord Buddha gave this advice. This advice they made by their own. That may not be the advice given by the Buddha, but they say like this. Similarly, in the practice of Dhamma, in meditation, people used to teach. These days we can see many meditation teachers around the world. They teach different techniques, different meditation. And sometimes there may be teachers who have not yet studied the Buddha's teaching, and they claim themselves to be the teacher of meditation according to the Buddha's instruction. In these cases, Lord Buddha gave this sutta, this discourse, to check whether it is teachings of the Buddha or not, to identify whether it is the teachings of the Buddha or not. So the name of this sutta is Sattu Sasana Sutta. This sutta starts like this. Once Venerable Upali Bante visited to the Lord Buddha. After paying homage to the Lord Buddha, he requested to the Lord Buddha to give him teachings in brief, which can be helpful for his happiness. And after hearing this teaching, he would go to the seclusion under the tree or cemetery, somewhere where there are no people. In the silence, he will meditate. Like this, he said to the Lord Buddha. Then the Lord Buddha said, whatever teachings you know, Venerable Upali, if that teachings does not lead to seclusion, to dispassion, to cessation, to tranquility, to direct knowledge, to awakening, or to the Nibbana, then it is not the teachings of the Buddha, then it is not the teachings of the Master, then it is not the discipline of the Master, then it is not the dispensation of the Master. So sometimes we can relate this to today's world. People meditate for the liberation. A very few people actually meditate for the liberation, for the Nibbana. So they meditate for a long time. After some time they get frustrated. Or sometimes they cling, they cling towards the experiences which happened in the meditation. And like whenever they come across with the light or happiness or any other things, then they attach to the happiness, they attach to the light, they attach with these experiences. So in this case, this should not be done with these such experiences. If we do like this, if we become attached to the happiness, if we attach to the tranquility, if we attach to the light, then the purpose is not served. The purpose of Buddha's teaching is to achieve enlightenment. And in the beginning, we attach to the light, we become attached to the light, or we become attached to the happiness. Then there is no further progress. The path is blocked. So these things can be happen with anyone. So that is why further Lord Buddha said, whatever teachings, Venerable Upali, you know, if their teachings lead to the seclusion, to the dispassion, to the cessation or stop, or to the tranquility, to the direct knowledge, to the awakening, or to the Nibbana, then this is the teaching of the Master. Then this is the discipline of the Master. Then this is the dispensation of the Master. So this is the teachings taught by the Buddha when you like to verify the teachings of the Buddha and you were stuck somewhere in the middle of meditation in your practice and you are not going further, then you check. If you are attached with such experiences, then you have to be free from the attachment. That is why the Buddha said, viragaya. So let us try to understand the words which Lord Buddha taught here, like ekanta nibbidaya. That Buddha's teaching lead for seclusion and nibbida. Nibbida means total turning away from worldliness, or in other sense we can say showing no interest for any other objects. Objects which we experience, like pleasurable objects and unpleasurable objects. Showing no interest for them is nibbida. No interest for taste of these internal and external objects. This is called nibbida. Then viraga. Viraga means dispassion, no lust, or attachment. Then the third one is nirodha. Nirodha means cessation, leading towards cessation or leading towards stop. When our mind becomes disenchanted, nibbida, then it automatically becomes dispassion. The next step is dispassion. Mind without lust. And whatever object we experiences, then there will be no attachment. There will be no lust for the objects. This is how the third step can be understood, which is nirodha, cessation or stop. Now the objects are same, pleasurable or displeasurable, or pleasurable or unpleasurable. The objects are same still now. But now you are not generating any lust for the objects, any attachment for the objects. So the attachment or lust is stopped now. Now you can experience the cessation of passion, lust. And this is considered as nirodha, cessation. And nirodha also can be taken in other sense, like saying, observing, arising and passing away. In this way, we can experience the cessation, momentarily cessation, arising and vanishing of all object, visible object, sound, smell, or feelings, or mental feeling, or any other thoughts in the mind. In this way, we can understand the cessation. So let me tell one more time. Ekanta viragaya, the Buddha's teaching leads for the seclusion, and lead for the disenchantment, and lead towards dispassion, leads to nirodha, cessation. Then upasamaya. Upasamaya means tranquilized. The Buddha's teachings lead to the tranquilize the mind. It has two meanings. We can say just like tranquilize our mind here and now, and tranquilizing of defilements. Tranquilizing of defilement. Then the next is avinyaya, which is direct. Lead towards direct experience. Your direct experience means knowing three characteristics: anicca, anatta, dukkha. In the translation sometime, we can find higher knowledge. So these are the higher knowledges. Of course, the jhanas can also be considered as higher knowledges. But here as text suggested that three characteristics should be considered as avinya. Experiencing anicca, anatta, dukkha, impermanence, suffering and non-self. So Buddha's teaching leads to the impermanence, suffering and non-self. Then the Lord Buddha said sambodhaya, which means the teachings of the Buddha lead to the bodhi, to the awakening. So what is this awakening? The awakening into the truths. Awakening into the truths. If anyone does not understand Four Noble Truths, dukkha satcha, samudaya satcha, nirodha satcha, nirodha gamani padipada satcha, they cannot be enlightened being. In fact, Lord Buddha himself said in Dhammacakka Sutta, until he has not yet clear in the Four Noble Truths with its 12 links, till then he did not proclaim that he became an enlightened being. self-enlightened being, Samma Sambuddha, or he has discovered enlightenment, Samma Sambuddhi. Awakening into the Four Noble Truths. So Buddha's teaching lead towards enlightenment, awakening into the Four Noble Truths. When one experiences dukkha satcha, samudaya satcha, nirodha satcha, constantly practicing these Four Noble Truths, especially Four Noble Truths, constantly, when the right view is strengthened and fully matured, then that right understanding of knowing Four Noble Truths completely will give rise to the right wisdom and vimutti, freedom. Only after maturing wisdom faculty, the enlightenment can realize. The other 7 factors of enlightenment are helping. They help for the development of right understanding. Yes, in the beginning of practicing Noble Eightfold Path, we have to have some understanding. And then we practice sila, we practice morality, we practice meditation. When we practice meditation constantly, then right view, we strengthen our right view with the meditation. Because then we can see clearly things as they are. That is why Lord Buddha said, Samahito bhikkhave bhikkhu yatha bhutang vajanati. When the mind becomes composed and calm, in other words, Buddha said this samahita as jhanas. After attaining jhanas, one can see clearly things as they are. What are those things? The things are dukkha satcha, the noble truth of suffering, the noble truth of cause of suffering, the noble truth of cessation of suffering, the noble truth of leading path towards end of suffering, Four Noble Truths. Then it is possible when we have a very strong peaceful mind. When you have peaceful mind, then one can penetrate these Four Noble Truths. After experiencing Four Noble Truth, then one can realize Nibbana or Bodhi, enlightenment. So that is why Lord Buddha said the teachings of the Buddha is lead towards awakening into Four Noble Truths. Or this can be considered as Magga, path towards Nibbana. As Buddha said in one of the suttas, contemplating arising and passing away of 5 aggregates which are subject of clinging. When one experiencing arising and passing away of these 5 aggregates of clinging, then one can experience one can experience Nibbana. So this Sambodhaya, the Buddha's teaching leading to the enlightenment. So here the enlightenment is the path. Where we have to work. Then the last one that Lord Buddha mentioned, Nibbanaya. So the Nibbanaya, which means the teachings of the Buddha lead towards Nibbana. Nibbana means without any hindrance, obstacles. Nibbana means without any hindrance or without any obstacles. So here one can understand that Lord Buddha taught 2 types of Nibbana, Kilesa Nibbana and Khanda Nibbana. Parinibbana you can say. So Nibbana means, here we can say in this sutta, totally like the Arhantas who finally attained Nibbana, and the body, they gave up, the body broke, and then especially we can say die. When they die, then there is no birth for them, there is no rebirth for them, they will not reborn anymore. So this is considered as Nibbana, one of the Nibbana. Anupadesesa Nibbana and Savapadesesa Nibbana. So this can be called Anupadesesa Nibbana, without Nibbana, without remaining. Nibbana without remaining. And these are the factors which Lord Buddha said, whenever you try to verify whether it is the teachings of the Buddha or not, then you should go through these points. You should experience these things. And when you experience, then yes, you can carry on your practice. So one more time, I just repeat. So Buddha's teaching lead to the seclusion, lead to the disenchantment, nibbida, lead towards dispassion, lead towards cessation, stop, lead towards tranquilizing, tranquil, lead towards direct knowledge. Experiencing direct knowledge means experiencing three characteristics, lead towards awakening, and finally lead towards Nibbana. And Nibbana can be understood in two senses: free from defilements, or one can understand attaining final, like facing death, or after death, when he leave this body, this should be considered Nibbana in two sense: overcoming the defilements, or eradicating defilements, or leaving this body and no more birth or rebirth. Nibbana should be considered this. With this Dhamma talk, I conclude here. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
So today Bhante mentioned about how do we know that something that we hear is really from Buddha or it is not from Buddha, to sort of segregate or to recognize what is, taught by Buddha or not taught by Buddha, because we may hear from different people saying things that are attributed to Buddha, but may not be something coming from Buddha. So he mentioned about that, and things like seclusion means when Buddha teaches, it makes you to be just happy by yourself. You see, what we call these days finding joy in your own company. You see, so Buddha's teaching helps you to be content with your own self. It doesn't tell you to, that you are, you always need somebody, I mean, it's good to have somebody, but it doesn't necessarily important for you to be contented. So also, disenchantment is something that something that we see in today's time, that people are all the time engaged in a lot of distraction, a lot of things that are always wanting your attention. Social media is one of the example, or internet in general. So what Buddha would say is that you don't need to be everywhere, you don't need to be in all places, you don't need to know everything that's happening. You don't need to be aware of everything that is happening in the world, who is doing what, who is where. You don't need to be so much be aware or focus. Because we see in today's time, people are, there is a term for it, right? FOMO, FOMO. So that it's a very thing. So so you really need, you don't need to miss anything. It's okay if you miss something, that's fine. You see, so that's something Buddha teaches, is that you don't need to be so much connected with things and people and other things. You can find peace within yourself. So these are the things that we have seen today, and then there are many other things mentioned. So what we can understand is that we really need to find a joy within our own mind, within our own self, and it is possible and it is important, because we all seek joy, we all seek happiness, we all want happiness, but that's something we can find within ourselves, and seclusion is the first one today. So and about sensory activities, right? Too many, we have 6 senses, so we don't need to so much feed our senses, whether it is seeing or tasting or listening. We don't need to feed too much thing, because it will eventually make us tired, it will make us exhausted, it will make us more confused. These days we have so many things available and we are confused. So the confusion can go more and more if we are overly engaged, with our senses, the 6 senses. So we need to really be, a bit disconnected. We don't need to always connected with the people, with the society, with the things that are happening on social media, on friends, on food and travel and so many things. The clothes, so many clothes. So you need to a little bit make things simpler. You don't really need so many things, because they create a lot of confusion, tiresome, as I mentioned. It exhaustion. You get, your energy is drained, and then you can't see. You can't really understand your own feelings. You can't understand your own experiences. You'll be confused about your own thoughts, your own ideas. Where can I what can I do, what should I do, what kind of path I should take. So it's really, I think I can understand why Buddha has put in this order, the first word, seclusion, seclusion. So, we also talk about these days me time, right? This is a popular term, me time. What is this me time? It's nothing but seclusion, where you are being a little bit away. Like we talk about detoxing, social media detoxing. So, so some sort of disconnected, too many things are rubbish and they are just going to spoil. Of course, we can be connected, but, in the minimal way, as less as possible, and to be connected with maybe few people, but more qualitative people, and most importantly with your own self. That's one of the reasons why we meditate, because it helps us to connect with our own self, and to cessation, as Bhante mentioned, to drive out whatever negativity has built up in our mind. So we try to free ourselves from them, and then we generate all the powerful qualities of the mind, like mindfulness, joy, stability, and knowing, and peace. So really we can eventually achieve the Nibbana, as Bhante mentioned. So Nibbana is nothing but the highest happiness. So Nibbana is like when you have no more unhappiness in your mind, and like Buddha, totally free from any kinds of unhappiness, so achieve the highest happiness, that is a Nibbana, But that can happen when we follow some of the things that Bhante mentioned. So it's a very personal experience for all of us, something that we can experience by our own self. Okay, so today's teaching on how to, so you can use this, as Bhante mentioned today, 17 or 6 or 7. So this is a kind of a yardstick, This is a yardstick to understand whether something is Buddha's teaching or not. You see. So it's the teaching that for us to reflect. So now with this, we come to the conclusion of today's Sunday program. It's every Sunday program we have, so you're all welcome to join with your family, friends, relatives, and everyone you know. And it is something I feel very important for us, especially in today's time when we are too much involved in so many things. So it's a time to just unwind ourselves, to just free our mind. So this is every Sunday program. You're all welcome, and we're happy to have you today here, and we thank you for coming and attending, and we see you again next Sunday. And we now share all the goodness we have accumulated today with all the beings in the universe. Sukhi bhaveyan dukkha ahane hit Atajaдаverino imam he gama ketam he sattha honto sukhe sada tato paranchara jeso Chakhavale sujantano sadhu sadhu sadhu